avid video game player. I play video games a lot, and
Wow.
I'm pretty passionate about it. Yeah, I have a lot of friends and people that I've met, and I think it's something that's really good. It takes my mind off the competition. Get as much self-control in training and in your technique and your practices. I think you can have a better time controlling it in competition.
Welcome to the Garima Avtar show. In today's episode, I have with me Chase Ealey, who is the reigning world champion in short put. She took gold at the World Outdoor Championships in 2022 in Eugene, Oregon, and a 5-time USA national champion. Furthermore, she is #1 in short put world rankings. She won the WADA Diamond League 2022 and she holds the second furthest USA distance of all time, as well as the joint USA indoor record. On top of this, she also took home silver at World Athletics Indoor Championships and was a World Female Athlete of the Year nominee for 2022, finishing the overall rankings at #8 for all female athletes. Thanks for joining me, Chase. Such a pleasure to have you on my show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
So, what's been your journey like? What's been your challenges that you've faced, and what's the best learning from your journey?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my career. I think a lot of people know that. I struggled a lot after 2019 and contemplated retirement many times because of it. And yeah, I think after last year, it kind of lit a fire in me that I didn't know I had. And I'm really glad that I stuck to it because I became world champion because of all those trials and tribulations.
Awesome, awesome. So what's been the best learning from your journey?
Yeah, probably just to be patient and stick to it. I think quitting was not like a good option, and I put it on the table, and I wish I never did. But just being patient and sticking to it, and it resulted in becoming a world champion.
Yeah, I mean, definitely I can imagine, sometimes this, frustration and doubt, it creeps in, and sometimes injuries and, a lot of other factors, and you end up getting these negative thoughts. But it's very important to be able to overcome that feeling. So what, according to you, is the right mindset one ought to have in order to succeed in a life, career, or any sport?
I just think to be open to failure. I think not being scared of falling or failing is really important. And I think that's something I learned in my journey is it's okay to get knocked down as long as you get back up. And I think anybody can take a positive from that regardless of anything.
Super. So please tell us, about some of your, habits and routine that you follow every day, some good habits that keep you positive, motivated, and, enthusiastic about your training and about your life in general. So, basically I'm talking about, your overall lifestyle and mindset towards life. So your routine and your habits.
Yeah, I just try and stay very consistent. So I try and do a lot of the same things, especially in season. I just want to stay consistent that way. I'm in control a lot. So I feel like as an athlete, I want to be in control of a lot of aspects of my life. That way I can control myself in competition as well. And I think I just try and stay really consistent day to day. I try and make sure that I'm doing certain wellness things, like taking care of myself first as a person, and then taking care of my athletic needs, like recovery and stuff. And I think it all starts with routines and certain things. So my nighttime routine is the same. I try and do my skincare and all that stuff, just to try and keep a lot of consistency, so that I'm more in control of how I'm feeling all the time.
Great. So what's your training schedule like?
So I throw 3 days a week and I lift 3 days a week.
Okay.
And then there's other training between that, plyometric exercises and stuff. So I'll throw and lift on certain days, and then I'll throw and maybe do a med ball session on other days. I think when you're a track athlete especially, you have to kind of be flexible with your training, because our track meets can be at different times and stuff. You'll have a track meet on a Wednesday, so you have to kind of like mold your training to like your competition schedule. So I just try and keep it pretty simple. I think we have it pretty locked down on how I train going into a competition and how I try and like go with the ebbs and flows of the training changes.
Oh, okay. Great. So, if you could meet your younger self who is striving to be where you are today, so what is that one piece of advice that you would like to give to her?
I mean, I would just say be patient. I really wish I understood like how important being patient is with my career and with everything. And I think if I knew when I was young not to try and rush every little thing that I did, I think I would have maybe succeeded sooner than later. But it's all in time. There's always a reason for everything.
Okay, so any message to the upcoming young athletes to motivate them?
Yeah, I would just say the same thing, like be patient and take the failures as steps to success rather than steps down. Like, I think it's really important that young athletes know that it's okay not to win all the time and it's okay to mess up.
Awesome. Okay, so let's come to the rapid fire questions. These are short, like one-line answers. Yeah? Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, any other side passion that you follow?
Yeah, I'm a pretty like avid video game player. I play video games a lot and
Wow.
I'm pretty passionate about it. Yeah, I have a lot of friends and people that I've met, and I think it's something that's really good. It takes my mind off the competition. It's something I've been doing a lot leading into Worlds as well.
Awesome. So, what kind of video games? Like anything specific? Like you play sports on video games, or like cars?
Yeah, no, I try and keep the sports separate. That way I
Okay.
can have a break. I
Sure.
play mostly like shooting games.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's the best advice you've ever got?
Yeah, this is something that I really love to be asked because it's something me and my coach have really taken on. This video went viral and it was talking about like the rule of thirds in regards to sports, and it's just like basically saying that a third of the time it's going to be bad, a third of the time it's going to be okay, and a third of the time it's going to be good. And I think that's really helped me understand that if you have a bad training day, like it's fine. Not every day is going to be good. And I think that's one of the best like things that I've ever learned as a professional athlete is I can take those bad practices and put them in that bad third, and I can take the good ones and put them in the good third, and understand that they all become one thing, and it can be success as long as you don't hold on to the bad third.
No, totally makes sense. That's amazing. So, how do you keep yourself motivated?
Yeah, I think I try and think about both my achievements and my failures, I think, and that's kind of what pushes me. So my achievements push me in that I want to keep achieving great things and doing and winning and doing amazing and throwing far. But then I like to use my failures as well to motivate me, where I say a lot of times I'll do something and I'll mess up, or I'll lose a important meet, and I just say never again, move on, like just take that feeling of failure and push it towards something good and try and use it to motivate myself.
Absolutely. So, do you think perfectionism is one's enemy? I mean, what do you want to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think like there's a really good quote from Les Brown, I think is who it was. And he basically said, he took that phrase, practice makes perfect. And he said, that's not true. Practice makes improvement. Like nobody's perfect. And I think that's really important to understand that you can always improve, and nobody out there is doing everything perfect. But if you practice, you will improve, and you will be the best that you can be.
Super. So, what do you think about how important is confidence, in one's game? And so, how to build composure and confidence in oneself?
Yeah, I think confidence is like really key. I think especially in athletics, because it's like a single sport, you're all alone. Like you're only relying on yourself. And I think you have to be confident in yourself, and you can't let like outside factors affect the way you see yourself. And I think as long as you're self-aware and you know everything that's going on, like you can keep your mental game up there and stay confident. And I think without confidence, I wouldn't have been able to do anything that I've done that has been successful in my career.
Totally. And what about that emotional control? I think it's very important to master that art during competitions. So how to do that?
Yeah, I think that's probably the hardest thing I would say to do, because it's funny. You go to World Championships or you go to the Olympics, and you picture it as this big thing, but it's the same people typically that you've been competing with all year in the Diamond League, and the same girls that you've either beaten or whatever all year. But it's really hard. You get out there, and the nerves and the feeling of being out there, it's really daunting and scary. And I think the best thing I learned was from my coach in Arizona, Ryan Whiting, and he was a professional athlete, and he really helped me understand how to use the fear and the butterflies, and use that adrenaline and use it as a positive instead of a negative. And I think the way you do that is to just really focus on controlling all your emotions while you train. That way you have more control over your emotions when you're competing. You're never going to be perfect like when you're competing, because like I said, it's a feeling you can never recreate no matter what you do once you get in that stadium and people are cheering and yelling. But I think as long as you get as much self-control in training and in your technique and your practices, I think you can have a better time controlling it in competition.
That makes total sense. I think practicing, following exactly the same kind of levels of control and, confidence during practice. And I think it makes all the world of a difference. So what, according to you, is the best, like any nutrition advice that you want to give about diet, good diet, or for physical fitness, any advice that you have?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is, like, I get this a lot from my fiance, because he does all my cooking and my strength and all that stuff. But like, I never understood how important protein was, like to a training person.
Yeah.
And how important it is for everything, like recovery and everything. So I think, like, as a shot putter, diet isn't exactly like my forte, but I know that, like, no matter what kind of athlete you are, or even moving around a person, like someone who's doing a lot, you definitely need to, like, make sure your protein intake is really good. And it's something that you don't really think about much, I don't think, like on a regular basis.
No, absolutely. I think bang on. I think protein is definitely very, very important for recovery. And any, for mental fitness, any exercise that you suggest to keep composure and, good focus?
Yeah, I've done a lot of reading and research into this stuff, because I think once you get into competition, like, all the physical stuff is already done. It's a mental game at that point. And I think one thing that I do regularly, and I think that's helped me, that I've learned from all my research, is just visualization. So I always try and visualize the competition, visualize the good throw in that moment. Like, I try and see myself in the ring, like, doing what I need to do in that moment with all the pressure. And I just do that over and over and over again until it's time. And that's pretty much how I try and, like, mentally prepare myself, by just already being in that situation for weeks.
I think it's a visualization, really helps. Even I try and use this even for, general things, general to achieve general goals. I think visualization, affirmations, all these are very good practices.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, any documentary film that inspired you the most?
Yeah, I think there would be one. It's like a Michael Jordan one.
The Last Dance.
The Last Dance. Yeah,
okay.
That one. I think the reason being, like, I grew up watching basketball a lot, and I mean, like, he's always been like an idol of mine. But I think his like input on, like, failure and stuff, I think is something anybody can learn from. And I think he has some of the best, like, quotes and advice in regards to that, like, just being able to, like, take failure and losing and using it to motivate you and stuff. I think I get a lot of that from him. So I would say I don't watch a lot of those type of movies, but that's one I have watched. And I would say, like, hearing certain things he says definitely has changed that. Yeah, totally.
So you just said that you watch a lot of basketball. So what's your favorite NBA team?
The Celtics.
Oh, Boston Celtics. Oh my
Yeah.
God, amazing.
Yeah, it's funny. I only became a fan of them because when I was little, I used to watch basketball with my late grandpa, and the original reason I liked them was because green was my favorite color. And I was
seriously?
young. And then now, as I've gotten older, I just like them because I like them now. But it started off because green, which I think is funny.
So who's your favorite player then, NBA player? Do you have a favorite player?
Of all time?
Don't say Michael Jordan again, but
No, I used to be a big fan of Kevin Garnett, obviously from the OG Celtics days.
Okay.
But yeah, me and my sister were big fans of him.
Okay, awesome. Okay, any favorite quote that you have?
Yeah, definitely. I think I feel like I keep talking about like failure, and I don't want it to seem like I talk about that a lot, but I do have like a Serena Williams quote, and it's I actually have it here. It says, "I really think a champion is defined not by their wins, but by how they can recover when they fall." And that's another quote that kind of, like I said, I think the negative has more of an impact on yourself and your career if you let it. And so I think I really resonate with stuff like that, quotes like that really show you how to like adapt to the negative and stuff.
No, absolutely. You know, we all, face so much of failure before we, achieve that one victory. And, people or, nobody is able to understand how much effort and, hard work and even failures go back. And when we achieve one victory, it's not that easy at all. So I can totally resonate with what you're saying. So, okay, best game memory that you like to share?
Like competition?
Yeah.
Definitely probably Worlds, being able to like run to my family and seeing them in the stands because it was in the US. So having a home Worlds and being able to do it with my mom and my fiance there was amazing.
Okay. Awesome. Any like embarrassing moment, like the most embarrassing moment that you've had?
No, I can't say I can think of any like true embarrassing moments. I mean, I've fallen a lot in front of a lot of people, but like, it's just kind of like my personality. I'm kind of clumsy. I always say I'm the most clumsy professional athlete you'll ever meet, and it happens in the ring a lot. And I don't really get embarrassed by it though. It's part of the job, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are all clumsy in our own ways. Yeah, seriously. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, proudest accomplishment so far?
I mean, I think probably being world champion, but I think my overall 2022 season was by far like the proudest I've been of myself, and just like how far I've come was just all of last year. But it ending in world champion gold was pretty amazing.
And with this, we come to the end of the show. Thank you, Chase, for joining me in this absolutely amazing session.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you all for listening to today's episode with your host Garima Avtar. See you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.